Man, why I keep telling y'all, man? Y'all need to stop. Since it's up, then it's stuck, why don't you aim at the totem pole? Get a golden globe, maybe then you would know the roads. Walk it like you talk it, but you driving the latest boat. Guess it makes sense, your daily mantras, your latest quotes. Follow in they footsteps, who you think that you paving for. I guess we should watch that Viola Davis show. Make them all mad, then you Hall of Fame go in OP mode. You better rope the dope. You the dopest, bro. Man, I'm the one y'all can't fuck with. You better pipe down with all that up, then it's stuck shit. You just stuck up, bitch. I hope they bob and weave instead of buying bob and weave. That seems to be a common thing, man. Avoid the common things. I swear they'll weigh you down, they don't care.
I swear
that's how they claim that they was there. I swear the whole world spinning like it's the fair. I swear, but it's clear that y'all wasn't there when I was marching my way up the totem pole. Man, they throwing bows and they ducking poles. It's like a game of limbo, how I'm going low. Put the team on my back, said fuck the coach. Man, I'm the GOAT, and in Mamba mode. Marching my way up the totem pole. Man, they throwing bows and they ducking.
This the artist,
like a game of limbo.
Ja1rus.
They going. Put my team on the back, said fuck the coach. Man, I'm the GOAT.
Yes, sir.
Y'all be one hit wonders, make that shit stop. Your little 15 seconds, his fame is up. Man, TikTok. This is your welcome to hip hop. Thinking about how y'all got here, man, it's so exhausted. Mumble rap.
We're gonna let Ja1rus vibe us out.
When it's just another throwback.
Give some people a chance to get in.
So much I can't even tell you what's the sample. I'm bringing bars back. Say it with your chest or have a heart attack. Y'all ain't got the heart for that, and I know I got the heart to match. I know niggas in the hood with extenders, play dance and play limbo. You pull up, it's uno momento, and this ain't for nothing but lately niggas moving slow, and I ain't even bluffing. These days I'm feeling like I'm David Ruffin. When it hit the fan, the world ain't spinning no more. It's on fire, hell froze over. Life closing in, you can't be sober for closure. I never sweat, I can't pull over. Hoodie on, they rob the game of its culture. Zip them up now, it's a baddie bag odor. Take the mask off, revealing they poser. My palm itching to go getting closer, but I'm bred different, you can't imagine where I've been. I sleep through the noise, I can't rest when it's silent. I'm marching my way up the totem pole. Man, they throwing bows and they ducking poles. It's like a game of limbo, how I'm going low.
We got a good one for you tonight.
On my back, said fuck the coach. Man, I'm the GOAT, and in Mamba mode.
I know this young man personally.
Man, they throwing bows and they ducking poles. It's like a game of limbo, how they going low. Put my team on the back, said fuck the coach. Man, I'm the
What's his name?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, what's his
Yeah,
name?
that's great.
But it's two sides to the coin. What is your point? I hit you back and you ignored it. Guess you busy acting foreign. Don't hit me up when I start touring. Don't be lacking cause they plotting. You get used like a socket. It's the ones claim they rocking. It is. But it's two sides to the coin. What is your point? I hit you back and you ignored it. Guess you busy acting foreign. Don't hit me up when I start touring. Don't be lacking cause they plotting. You get used like a socket. It's the ones claim they rocking.
Cozy in the building.
Fake friends, fake friends. I thought they'd be there until the end. Man, they slept in pajama pants. I guess when my dream
Mr. 90 Days, I see you.
You hate when you got a vision and they don't see it too. Transparent, they see through. Speaking French like we who. Where was you at when I slept in the attic? So broke that I didn't have a basement. I was down, had my back to the pavement. Man, I definitely wasn't sunbathing. I was set to go back in 99 when the block was hot. I'm a fireman, but trust, boy, you get your lollipop. I used to roll with niggas, now they roll with ops. I call them roly-poly, they whole life is botched. Crying over spilt milk, pish posh. Give it to them pussies instead of trying to kill them. Reverse fireman, 119 the building. But it's two sides to the coin. What is your point? I hit you back and you ignored it. Guess you busy acting foreign. Don't hit me up when
Yes,
I start
sir.
touring.
I
Don't be
might
lacking
have to
cause they
call the
plotting.
fire department
You get
tonight.
used like a socket. It's the ones claim they rockin'. But it's two sides to the coin. What is your point? I hit you back and you ignored it. Guess you busy acting foreign. Don't hit me up when I start touring. Don't be lacking cause they plotting. You get used like a socket. It's the ones claim they rockin'. I'm a shooting star like it's bait. No wonder she call me bae. Plus a young nigga getting cake, so she fuck with me to get cake. But I ain't wearing no cake. That must be a mistake. She had tiger stripes on her ass cheeks. I said, baby girl, they're great. Whoa, I got the master key and I got the lock. Everybody want a shot at the
Seasons
spot,
in the
but
building.
the spot come with shots. When you make it to the top, man, they wait on you to drop. And they praying, let you flop. But it's two sides to the coin. What is your point? I hit you back and you ignored it. Guess you busy acting foreign. Don't hit me up when I start touring. Don't be lacking cause they plotting. You get used like a socket.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the ones claim they rockin'. But it's two sides to the coin. What is your point? I hit you back and you ignored it. Guess you busy acting foreign. Don't hit me up when I start touring. Don't be lacking cause they plotting. You get used like a socket. It's the ones claim they rockin'. Hey, yeah, that shit was terrible. It's the one said it right. It's the one said it. It's the one said it right. Hey.
As always, I do not own the rights to this music, but y'all know what time it is.
A good evening. Do not attempt to adjust your radio. There's nothing wrong.
For
We have taken control as to bring you this special show. We will return it to you as soon as you are grooved.
Talk to him about them.
I shouldn't have left you.
Without strong rhyme to step to. Think of how many week shows you slept through. Time's up. I'm sorry I kept you. Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
what's going on, y'all? This Pops. I just wanted to pop in real quick. Hey, play our words. Pops from Pops Gems. You know, coming up, we got Pops perspective.
Talk to him, Jay.
Say what it ain't. Giving you the real, we'll never do the fake. Life is a gift, but sometimes we need guidance. Pop's perspective, always perfect timing. Call that alignment. Yeah, he gon' drop them gems.
Pops Gems.
You know he really him. It's something about his confidence that let you know he hadn't seen.
You don't want to miss. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. Pops perspective, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, sir. The way we go. Here it is once again. Another Monday night, 8:02. We about to bring it to you. I'm hype about this show. But I tell you, but as always, we got to start it off the right way. We give honor to God who truly is the head of our life. Without him, none of this would be possible. We thank him for all that he's done, all that he's doing, and all that he's going to do. And I pray that he finds you in a likewise spirit, an attitude of gratitude. So we give shout outs to God. Also, I got some feedback somewhere. Also, to Exotic Pops, shout out to them. Exotic Pops in the building. They support Lefty Global. Y'all want to holler at them. They got some new locations, so hit up the website at Exotic Pops and you'll see where they're at. My boy already in here, Denmark. I see you, Mr. Juan, in the building. My son already in here. My other son, of course, y'all know him. Season's been on the show many a time. He's branched off into the the apparel world. So you want to visit him at www.allseasons.shop. And he got some pins and things, some hats, some bombers, a little bit of everything. He'll put a logo on your dreams if you want him to. Also coming up. Don't forget Pops Gems pins coming out. Oh yeah, we're gonna clown a little bit today. Pops Gems pins coming out. So don't forget CTP Create the Panic. And then of course our guest tonight, he's here. I'm gonna introduce him in a minute. Lakai Holmes, we still got the candles. Get your candle. Aromatherapy is very important. Sets the mood. Don't you know that? I believe if I'm right, correct me. You aromatherapist experts. I believe lavender sets the mood for peace. It kind of mellows you out, if I'm not mistaken. See, and I'm not talking about that stuff that you be buying and putting on the stove and burning and it's supposed to be a cleaner fabuloso lavender. I'm sorry. Don't cut me off. Don't Instagram. I didn't mean no harm. CB Visions, CB17 Visions. Shout out to them. Saturday morning, they have a live Bible study. If you want to increase your knowledge about the Word of God, it's available there. CB17 Visions. Of course, Eye Pinky Surgeries, one of our supporters and one of our followers. And then, of course, a special shout out to you, and you. Those of you that are tuning in, have tuned in, and going to tune in. Thank you for your time. I learn more and more every day. Time is something you cannot get back. Two things you can't get back: words and time. Everything else will come back to you, but words and time, once you put it out there, people may forget, but they'll never forget. All right. Am I my brother's keeper? While we in that mode, let us take 10 seconds, just 10 seconds, and we're going to focus on one person that we want a special blessing sent their way, some positive vibes, some positive energy. So you got that person in your mind. I give you a second. You got him. You got him. Even if it's you, it's okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Let me before we get into the show, let me say this. I got a special attitude of gratitude because about 2 weeks ago I woke up and my face, I don't know if you had noticed it last week on the show, but my face looked like Mike Tyson caught me with one of them left hooks when he was in his prime and I was sitting down. You know how they got the people that slap contest? My jaw was like this. And I went to the hospital and they, it's funny because they admitted me and I was in the hospital for 4 days for a infected tooth. So by the grace of God, they was able to drain it and give me some antibiotics and everything. And, I'm a little better, getting back 100%. But I said that to say, take care of your body, man. You got to take care of yourself because if you don't, you'll pay for it in the end. Take that from an old man. Still working on mine. Hush. Those of you in the chat, don't say nothing, don't post nothing. But nevertheless, just wanted to say thank you. I came out of that okay. It didn't get, because the thing about the infection, that if it gets in your bloodstream, you could die. And so it was a blessing. It was a very blessing that they was able to catch that and get that out and extract that stuff. So nevertheless, here we are. All right. Tonight. Let me do this. I'm gonna play a song, and then when I come back, I'm gonna talk to y'all about our guest tonight. Our guest tonight is a very special guest. I know him personally, and he took his time to be on the show and come and bless us with his presence. But we got some serious questions for those of you that are aspiring to be in the music industry. We're gonna ask some tough questions. I got my boy Juan in the chat. He might jump on. He might ask a couple questions because we want to go a little deep. But just a little something. Y'all been hearing it all week. I just want to play it for y'all. The dog is not on the intro.
It's time to clock in.
Let's go to work.
I don't need the iron to straighten them all. They be pressed that I won't fold. She say she need money, well I need a show. Silver lining, then I'm going for gold. I'm 100, so I'm on go. Say that it's beef, I'm cutting it cold. Breaking news, the new nigga breaking in, and man, he stole the show. I had to level up. Hey. This a new chapter in life, man, I got my cheddar up. Go! Tommy Guerrero, man, you boys ain't real enough. No! Y'all like Eddie, Lachi to steal for petty crumbs. And I'm just like 6'1", 9.
But I still got that shit by my side. Soon as niggas park, man, they gon' slide. That was simple, I got limits in life. No excuses, though I still on my feet. Street smart, so I never need cleats. Even when I had my back to the streets. Never pretend about who I would be. I'm good in the hood, cause nigga, I'm me. And I know you think that goalie gon' fleet. But I swear that shit is more like a leash. We ain't tight no more, this shit they got fleece. Couldn't hang in the deep end, caprice. When you see me, keep it short, capiche. Even when they say they seasick, I don't see these niggas cause I still see my seeds. Versace lenses, man, they say I'm a geek.
I don't need the iron to straighten them all. They be pressed that I won't fold. She say she need money, well I need a show. Silver lining, then I'm going for gold. I'm 100, so I'm on go. Say that it's beef, I'm cutting it cold. Breaking news, the new nigga breaking in, and man, he stole the show. I had to level up. This a new chapter in life, man, I got my cheddar up. Tommy Guerrero, man, you boys ain't real enough. Y'all like Eddie, Lachi to steal for petty crumbs. And I'm just like 619.
Yes, sir. That's called Level Up. Tonight, it's been a while in the making. I've been waiting to get him on the show for a long time. We coming up on our 100th episode. So praise God for that. But I've been every time hit and miss is scheduled, and then of course you got to make sure that timing is right and things are promoted right, and of course with my health and things like that, and things getting shuffled around. But nevertheless, here we are. It brings me great joy and great pleasure. I want to say this: I have 4 children, and no one is more special than the other collectively. But individually, each one has a personal place in my life, as I've shared experiences with them individually as well as collectively, and so it does me very. I'm very proud. It does my heart. It brings me great joy. This young man, I've seen him grow up. I've seen him go through. Your mom would pop in right at the intro. Dang, I can't say. We have to cut it out, stop back. But no, I've seen him grow up, and it's funny. Shout out to Miss Keeper who's in the audience. It's funny that that she came in because uh, without letting the cat out of the bag, I seen this man grow up in 2 different households and still become one individual person. And it does a lot, it says a lot when you have two different set of standards. Not that the one was better than the other, but it's just 2 different lifestyles. And I was going to do a show on that, growing up in 2 homes. And so but nevertheless, I seen him mature into a young man. Never had to go down 33rd and get him. Never had to worry about him, being well, he got in trouble as a kid, but who doesn't? But never anything major. I've seen him persevere through times. I've seen him take initiative and grow up and strive to be an adult. And then being the youngest, I've also seen him have to not so much fight for his position and things, but I've seen him push through to say he was just as impactful, and age had nothing to do with that. So it does me great joy. It does my heart good to introduce to some, present to others, my son, Isaiah Ja1rus. Proud to put the whole government out there. I could do that. It's okay. It's okay. I reload it. Welcome to the show, son. Y'all know Miss Ja1rus, and I'm glad he took that name. I know his mama gonna say it was her, but we we came up with it together. How about that, for the sake of the show? But welcome, son. Welcome.
You're, can you hear me?
Yep. Yes, sir.
What's up, Pops? Appreciate that, bro. Much love. Power to both of y'all, of course. I definitely mentored me and raised me in the right way to become the person I am today and that I'm still becoming. So much love and all appreciation with y'all.
Well, we are happy to have you here. Now, I got some real, and mind y'all understand that I wear 2 hats in this interview. Number one, as Pops Gems, because we are going to interview him as I would anybody else, and then of course just as being his dad. A lot of the questions some of the questions that I'm going to ask him, I already know the answer to. It's more so for y'all, benefit of y'all, but we are going to get into some things. First thing, what I want you to do is tell the people a little bit about your background, about where you came up, what the environment was when you came up, and the time frame that you came up, and then we're gonna dig into a little bit about your musical background and things of that nature. But just tell the people a little bit about yourself, who you are, and where you're from.
So I go by Ja1rus. If you already put my government out there. I grew up in Orlando, located mainly West Orlando, located. It was. I mean, when you're used to something, it doesn't seem different or at home to you. It's what you're used to. So for me, it was life. It was what it was. But as I grew up and I started to pay attention to the world, I realized that, I did grow up in a very tough environment. Um, one of the rougher parts of the city. Um, growing up in a split home, that definitely had an effect on it. So it was very challenging. And being the youngest, having to, I had mentors on both sides, no matter whether I was at your house or at my mom's house. So the difference in that aspect of life, the different age groups of my siblings, that definitely played a part on everything. So it was a lot that definitely shaped my observation. Luckily, I could say that I I listened and I took the advice that I was given.
Yep, because and again, I know the answer to some of this, but when you talk about split home, and I say this all the time, when I met his mom, she had two kids. She had a son and a daughter that was, of course, already older, and then I had two children, a son and a daughter as well. I said we went half on the baby, but but he had older siblings, and of course, my two were the older of the two, and then of course he had his other brother and sister. So it was kind of like, you know two on there, two on there. And so like he said, he had mentors on both sides. Now that being said, growing up in a two-person home, um you got to see two different sides of life, if you will. And again, not saying that one was any better than the other, but at what point in growing up, what influenced you to lean towards music? Because
Uh,
rap is not the only thing you do.
and,
I told you. I wish I keep it. Post a clip. Post a clip. I'm just playing. Go ahead.
uh, don't do that. Don't do that. Music, music, I feel like was a part of me, from young. Uh, and I learned older as I got older that some of my older siblings, as far as my grandparents and stuff like that, were involved with music. But music was a part of me at a young age. I mean, growing up, I was always, you always put me on. That's why, I had to give you a shout out on the track. I know we'll get into that later, but you always put me on as far as like making sure I was culturally aware of music. I mentioned you played the old school jams, the new school jams. Even as far as movies, that was a big part. As a kid, I was a movie kid, so watching movies and hearing movie theme songs and seeing coming up watching You Got Served, watching the dance videos. I grew up in like the YouTube era, so those videos were dropping. Music was always definitely influential. Yeah, always a big part.
Now, would you say, because like I said, both sets of your siblings are older than you, what impact did they have on you musically? I mean, of course, those who know Seasons, he's a rapper with Swag Bandits and things of that nature. But I'm talking about even before that, what influence did they have as far as keeping you up to date with music and different things?
Uh, Honestly, like really, I was, as you could say, I guess I consider myself like kind of the rebel, maybe because I'm the youngest or whatever, and they play into it, become the rebel. So like a lot of the music that I listen to now, I wasn't always listening to as a kid. Like I said, I was a movie kid, so I was always kind of listening to like those pop tracks. Like I even remember like mom when I was young, she didn't want me listening to the explicit music, so she got me kids pop. So I was jamming like pop songs at first, like radio hits, real. It wasn't like hip hop. And then as I got older, I remember growing up, I shared a room with my brother Keon. Of course, it was what it was. So he would always play his music. And I remember growing up at first, I didn't like it. Like I would always tell him, like, cut it off, like that's trash. And then like as I actually started to listen, and then coming to your crib with you, and then like I'm listening to that, I'm like, okay, like this is a bop. Like this is jam, and this is hip hop. I like hip hop. I can get down with hip hop. So that started to shape it. And then, of course, Matt was doing music as well. Seasons, shout out to Seasons, you already know, CTP. He was doing music as well, so that was definitely a big influence, being a kid, watching them do their thing. They were always the coolest things in the world. You know what I'm saying? Seeing them get ready for their shows, seeing them at the studio. I was be able to go to the studio with them a couple times. So that always put me like in that mode and in that feel of like, yeah, I know I want to do this. I like this. Like I always like different kinds of it. So I always do musical studio.
Yeah, and then on both sides of the family, because there's been a lot of events that they wanted you to showcase you, and of course, coming from a musical family, they wanted you to be out there. I know I definitely did. There was a lot of times when we sit around with the bandits and what have you, and we do freestyle sessions and stuff. And I remember, at one point you jumped in. You even wrote about it in one of your songs. In hip hop or in rap, well, I'll say hip hop. What would you say is different now? Because you came up again, Run DMC, Rakim, Eric B, uh, Dana Dane, the whole era that I came up in, and of course then even other music, old school music, where you had the Temptations and you had the Five Heartbeats from all the movies. We would watch Juice, we would watch all of those other movies. What do you feel is different now about hip hop than it was back then?
Uh, Hip hop is in its time. You can even hear it. You can tell like when music drops, you've got about a week or two, and then everybody's waiting on the next track. But hip hop is in its time. To me personally, I don't see anything like, especially stuff like that has been dropping recently. I don't see anything that the way you did for me to make sure I knew about Sir Mix-a-Lot, Run DMC, and I mean, I have my selection. I don't have many artists that I'm looking to pass on. Like, hey, these guys were troops. These were some MCs. These were some heavy hitters. Like even soulful artists to certain circumstances. Like just music isn't starting to get its time. I think the feel of music and the purpose of music is starting to wane, and that's what's causing it to water down. It's also saturated because a lot of people want to do it now, which isn't a problem. But,
Do you feel that rappers today are more passionate about their music or more passionate about a profit?
profit. I think, well, certain artists. I think the artists who are passionate about music aren't often given the publicity or notoriety. But yeah, a lot of it's just
Okay. Um, Got to ask, coming up and then versus now, who are some of the major influences you had? Because your style is a little different than most. But you got to catch your style. We're gonna talk about some of them songs as well. But who was some of your mentors as far as when you was coming up? Who did you see yourself taking hints and patterns from?
that's a wide spectrum. Yeah, you know that's a wide spectrum too. But that's a very wide spectrum. Um, Personally, and I hope I'm not taking away from the question maybe later, but I was blessed enough to grow up like in a way. I appreciated having two different households to go to at times because I've seen two different sides of it. Like I did appreciate the perspective, Pop's perspective. But yeah, I did appreciate the perspective. So I had definitely gifted to listen to your hip hop, you know, old school, really the foundation of it. And then Matt's there as well. Seasons is there as well. So he's giving me his influence. And then I'll go over there. I go back in my mom's group. I got Keep It G. So really like I be looking to bridge the gap. So I take a lot of influence from a lot of artists. And I try to create my own sound. I think that's what's most important because you don't want to get too washed away in another rapper's sound or another artist's sound, and you sound like them. So, but to get back to your question, Slick Rick definitely for storytelling. Dana Dane, J. Cole, Kendrick. Lamar, Big Sean, Lil Wayne. I know it's a lot of artists. Biggie, Pop to an extent. Like it's a lot of artists. You know, it's a huge spectrum because I was one that I grew up at a certain time, but I went back and listened to everything before me too, so that way I could understand. Because I really am a savant about this. I really love music.
And so, and that's good because you had a smorgasbord, if you will, of choices where some people only grow up listening to one thing. When I was growing up, I was in Germany, and Juan, I'm sure is in the chat, he can attest. We had one radio station, and so on Saturday they played the top 40. So we only was introduced to what was that made it to the top 40, and we only heard a select uh, a select number of songs, but it was a wide spectrum, everything from country to rock. I mean, it was whatever they had to cater to all the different cultures that was over there in Germany. I started getting into rap and getting into old school because my mom and dad they always used to throw parties and stuff, and the music that they used to play. And then when I was a young kid, I came up, I was DJing. I was coming from, I don't know if y'all remember, I'm gonna take y'all way back when we used to put the cassette in the recorder and wait for them to play the song on the radio so we could record it and get it live. Yeah, yeah. And then we would take the first part, the way we used to mix. We put the tape in there and we'd record the first part and we'd stop and then we put the music back and we hit record again. So instead of it saying "I got," it would go "I." So we was like trying to scratch, even way back then with cassettes. And I go further than that. I go back to reel to reel. And you really got to know. You really got to know what music is when you go back to reel to reel. They had like a movie reel. And you put it on there, and it would play, and it was like, oh man, like 8 hours of continuous music. So the era is different, but let me say this: if you could collab with any artist, pick three and why. Present, past, or future.
See, like for me, it's not it wouldn't be just hip hop or rap because I grew up. Like I said, I had my own sound that I was listening to before I was even exposed to hip hop or rap. So for me, it'd probably be like I definitely get Big Sean on the feature. I'd have to. Um, I'd love to have like Nina Simone's voice on the track in some kind of way, and then I'd probably finish it off. I'd probably finish it off with like something big.
Okay.
That's all.
All right.
Then I hit off the cup question because I know
um, the songs you got out now. Yeah, yeah, you know that I'm pops. I could do that on both sides of the spectrum. She said, pops put you on the spot.
they put me on the
But these are no different questions, and people want to know. It makes a difference when you grow up and you're exposed to a lot of different things because you you view things a little differently than if you just and not being exposed is not a bad thing. But when you have a variety, you diversify better, and you have more ways you can go, and then even in that you create your own. You take a little bit from everybody and you put it together and you make your own sound. And speaking of that, the songs we got, I've been playing them all week, been playing them before on the show, um, and I listened to these words, and of course, a couple of my favorites, "Level Up," "Heads or Tails." What inspired you? Are these words that you just penned up? I don't want to put nobody on blast. I'm not saying that they were directed to anybody, but are these drawn from past experiences, or is this fictional? Is non-fictional? We could do like one of our favorite shows. Isaiah and I. Let me put a pen in it. Isaiah and I used to always hang out, and we would watch TV shows and movies and things like that nature. One of my favorite shows was Wildin' Out. We used to watch Nick Cannon Wildin' Out. So if you want to plead the fifth on any of these, you can plead the fifth. It's okay. I'm not gonna get mad at you. But what like, and I guess because I got an inside kind of track on your life per se, that I could see deeper than just hearing the words. So what inspired you, like especially Heads or Tails?
Uh, yeah, that's the everybody wants
Feel free in the chat if you want to type in a question you want to ask him while he contemplates some.
Man, listen, let me tell y'all something. The beautiful thing about music and dealing with artists is like when you get the music, that's when you're getting it, but you never know when they recorded it. In the
Yeah.
words, this song was recorded months ago.
Uh-oh.
But then, nah. But all jokes aside, a lot of my music, 100% of my music stems from real situations or a real place. Even if I didn't necessarily go through it, life is about perspective. That's one of the things I stick to. That's one of the things I believe. So best believe that I had a homeboy or I know somebody that definitely went through that. But everything is coming from a real place. In that regard, like I said, things were recorded times before, but I feel like regardless, music is an expression. It's an art form of expression. That's one. And two, while I'm writing the track, and I'm recording it, I'm hearing it, I'm like, people need this. One, like a lot of people do you do often have people at times who don't clearly see the vision,
Right.
Or they don't want to stick it through, ride with you. Life is always about life is about perspective, like I said. So I definitely want to get a track where I implemented that and let people know, like, hey, this is definitely one of the things, it's definitely one of my values because there's always a perspective. So while you may be feeling like somebody gave you the short end of the stick, they may feel like they lent their whole arm to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just something to think about. And what I have to remember, one of the things that I do remember that I enjoy from music is that what music does for me. When I'm going through something, how much I relate to it. So just because when I'm recording something at the time, even if I'm not personally going through it, when I'm talking about something from the past or like somebody else may need to hear this. Somebody else may need this music to help them through a time or to let them know, like, hey, you're not the only one out there that goes through this. That's what music is.
Okay. What is your muse? What inspires you?
Everyday life, really. Definitely where I come from growing up. The way I see the world, because the way I make my music may be something that you turn up to or whatever, but the main goal behind my music is get a message across.
Do you have a message, or you're just speaking your mind, and whoever can resonate, or are you looking to send a message out to the world? What impact are you trying to make with your music, or is it just an expression of yourself?
I definitely am trying to create a message. I try to do that with every track. I don't try to just make simple music unless it's like a freestyle or something. That's a whole other topic. But I just want to get a message out to the world that I hope I'm using this the right way, but we can be obsolete. We can exist without. We can have differences. That's okay. Differences are it's fine. We don't have to have as much turmoil as we go through, and that definitely stems from where I grew up. It wasn't always easy. It was very rough. So and I never understood. You know, I never understood senseless violence, senseless acts of crime.
Okay. So you're what, 25 now? 25. So If you could be 25 and go back to your 10-year-old self, what would you tell your 10-year-old self at 25?
So don't be afraid. Um, take leads, stay focused, stay locked on. I think the biggest thing was that I was so interested in so much that oftentimes, in this life, growing up, you learn that there's some times where I lost focus on certain things. There's certain situations where, and that's a beautiful thing about life and being able to look back and reflect. There are certain situations that I look back on and I'm like, I should have took that risk. I should have took that risk. It's $20, but that opportunity was, so that's definitely something I think about.
Yeah, hindsight's always 2020. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of things that happen that if we had the opportunity to go back and say, hey, don't do this, don't do that, or think about this, of course the outcome would have come out different, but that's what life experiences are about. And so, um, I mean, your music is, again, to me, and I'm a hard listener because Ja1rus will tell you I'm old school to my heart. I mean, I'm old school to my heart. When they came out, when hip hop first came out, of course, I'm from the borough of Brook, so where hip hop originated, and so it was inevitable for them to hear it, and but even with Seasons, his style is different from the style of old, but he was right there. They grew up in the same household and had the same kind of musical influence. But your music, I can listen to it, and when there's a difference between hearing music and listening, or listening and hearing, however you want to do it. You can hear a song for the beat and be like, oh, okay, that's cool. But then you can listen to a song for the words, and then of course the words have a deeper impact. And so think about that, y'all. When you listen to music from now on, don't just listen to the beat, the hook, things of that nature, but listen to what the words are saying. The artist is expressing something, whether it be fictional or non-fictional. There's a message in the words that will resonate with certain people and looking for certain things. And I say that because in my day there was songs that came up that, when you was lonely, they had songs. When you was mad, they had songs. I mean, they had different songs for different occasions, but you had to listen to the words. And I think that now, and I'm not taking nothing away from anybody, but there's just a lot of noise out there. And when you start separating music from the words and you start listening to the words, you're like, this person got issues. They need some help because of the content that they're rapping. But there's people out there that want to hear that. There's people out there, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately, but they have that mentality that that's what they want to hear. I believe it comes from a low self-esteem and inferiority complex when you got to put yourself out there to that extent. Also, we strive to do better, and when we do better, we talk about what we used to do, and that's kind of crazy in music today. So that being said, where do you see hip hop 10 years from now? I'm coming with the heat. I don't know why you thought we were sitting around.
2034, the way it's going right now, 10 years. This is the thing. Like, so before hip hop, it was rock. It was rock. And then hip hop has been like fastest, music genre. It's about what I'd say the 80s. It's like the
50
80s,
years.
50 years. Yeah.
JC, I see you.
I think the way it's going, it's gonna burn out.
You think it's gonna burn
Yep.
out?
Yep.
Do you think it'll ever go back to where it came from, where it get back to just the lyrics and the storytelling and the basic? I mean, if you look at, unfortunately, if you look back through history of hip hop falling apart. there's a lot of hip hop icons that are being drugged, and it it gives unfortunately it gives hip hop a black eye.
Yeah.
Because now you got some pioneers in the game that they do what they do, but there's some that it when things evolve and things come to light, it kind of gives you a bad taste in your mouth about the things that are associated with it, and so you tend to walk away from all of that. But there's always been controversy in hip hop from day of origin. It started out battle rapping, and it was who was the best MC on the mic, even all the way back. Lefty in the building, even all the way back to uh, DJ Cool Herc or whatever his name when he started, and they would just get on the mic and DJ and talk, and then you had the Big Daddy Kanes that came up, and even Houdini and then Run DMC. If you listen to I said again, listen to the words, they was just talking about who was the baddest rapper, who can out rap who, and then it went to from okay. I can out not only can I out rap you, but I got better clothes, I got better jewelry, I got better. I almost said a bad word. I have better female associates. My money long. I got better cars. My set is bigger. Then it went into okay, well, you're not tough, and then it went into and gangster rap was born, and I want to say even through not so much just the West Coast, but the West Coast played a very significant role in gangster rap, and so now it was if you want to be hard, you had to you had to be a thug, and you had to participate and condone yourself in a certain kind of way. So hip hop has had a great influence on a lot of cultural changes. And so, and I told you I'm posing a question to you, but really I want those of you that are listening to to think about it. What impact does all that's happened, what impact does that make on what taste does that leave in your mouth towards hip hop? Like with one of the biggest things to me that affected hip hop was the Biggie and the Tupac, the East Coast West Coast rivalry. I think that we've lost, and I'm going back then, but we've lost a lot of significant rappers due to violence and due to and senseless violence that was media manipulated, and people sold out things just for the sake of having a story. But what impact does the environment now, what's going on now, have effect on hip hop? What do you think? Are we writing about what's going on now, or are we just looking to make the dollar and keep on moving?
Hip hop now is almost an algorithm. Like I don't, and it's gonna sound, it doesn't sound bad. I don't refer to too much as what is dropped now as hip hop. I call it rap. It's rap. I call it rap because hip hop to me is poetry, MC,
Okay.
you know. So I'll call it rap. I think I think the influence is
What advice would you give to somebody aspiring to get into the music?
you know you I say truth like so okay so for my goal for this is to bridge the gap because I feel like now like it's all an algorithm almost as far as like what artist or what music is like. You gotta have a certain look, you gotta have a certain resume, you gotta be from a certain area, you gotta have gone through this, you gotta have went through that. Like as far as, and I know you're familiar with this term, some other people may be, but the backpack rapper, that's not too much, that's almost not accepted at all. A lot of rappers sound the same and look the same because it's an algorithm. It's almost like a resume. It's like if they match the resume, give them the job. If they don't, hey, won't care what you're talking about. You're not getting the job. That's why you don't see too many clean cut rappers anymore. And I know I got locks, and I love my locks. You know what I'm saying? They ain't going nowhere, but you don't see too many clean cut rappers anymore. You don't see too many people who can just do the music. They always have to be doing something else. It's like a resume. It's an algorithm because it's a profit grab, and that goes into a deeper conversation of labels and like you said. I think the whole Biggie and Tupac beat definitely it drew so much media attention, so much outside attention. So many movies were able to be made off of hypothetical East Coast West Coast rivalry, video games that we played, all types of stuff. So it got real saturated, and that's why I think it's gonna burn out.
Season said you fall into the stigma of the gimmick instead of the gimmick working for you. Let me see something. They what was I gonna say? Oh, one of the things I wanted to see. Let me see if you come in. One of the things that I always wanted to see because when we was growing up, when y'all was growing up, or we was growing up too. I was growing up with y'all. I was just older. But one of the things that I always wanted to do was a cipher. I'd be the first one to kick something off, and y'all would be like, "Here go Dad again, here go Dad again." But I did it because I love to hear y'all to rap and spit, especially freestyling. Because freestyling, you had to come up off top all stuff off of the top of your dome. It wasn't no written down stuff. Yeah, there's some people out there. Yeah, well done. Yeah, we used to go. We went up to Georgia, and we'd sit around and we had a whole new different kind of karaoke. But one of the things I would love to see, one of the things that I and I've said this before, is I want to do a track with me, you, and Matt on the same track, and he don't want to come in. Okay, he can't come in right now. So maybe you never know. We might put one together from the old to the new, and yeah, Thanksgiving week freestyles. You already know, and shout out to Georgia. Yeah, Snellville in the building. We used to come up there faithfully. Okay, hold on now. Let's see if we can get them in here. But yeah, I would love to, but then it's hard, and the reason I say it's hard is because there you go. It's because we all have different styles of rapping.
There we go.
Seasons in the building.
Yo, peace to the world. What's good, gang?
And so I was telling Isaiah that one of the things that I would love to see, both of y'all got on green. If I see correctly.
I already know what time it is, bro. Yeah.
I'll see you. And but like I was telling him, one of the things I would love to do is put a record together, put a track together where we can all three of us get on the track and do our verse and stuff. And this is not new because as Matt or Seasons will tell you, we used to do this all the time around the crib.
We
We still do it just from different cribs. FaceTime and but I really want to have something that, because as I was growing up, even with them, as I was getting older and growing up with them, my love for rapping, I mean, without going into my whole life story, I believe that in the right hands, like what he said in the movie, in the right hands, I could have been one of the greatest. I believe I believe that things would have been different for me, because again, I come from that era and with the Run DMC flow and everything.
Right.
And we would sit around, all three of us would shoot it in the badness, and all of us be sitting around, and they would say, "Here you go." I kick it off old school, and then Matt would say, "Dad, just listen to the music." I'm like, "Nah, like acapella." I'm just but Matt, you brought a whole swab of people.
Hey, you know how? Hey,
you
shout
come
out to
with a crowd
on Team Seasons.
You come. You gotta. Can I get an autograph?
Nah, but nah, man. I just wanted to jump on because I was talking. What you was talking about, Jay, is just when I said that. You gotta work the gimmick. You see what I'm saying? Like, the best way to explain that was, and everybody called us when the Swag Bandits was rocking. They called us the Orlando Migos, and it was three different personalities, just all under one umbrella, and gave that energy. We vibed off of each other, but we also, we didn't have the most money. We didn't have the best of everything. We just made do with what we had, and we grinded as if we was already there, which set us apart. And I remember coming up with the crazy chains when we had that influence of the Goodwood chains when we started rocking the Wood Jesus piece. Like, people forget a lot of stuff, but you got to be a trendsetter, especially when you're in a environment that's saturated, oversaturated at that. Everybody today wants to be a rapper. I deal with it in the barber world. Everybody wants to be a barber. So it's like you got to figure out what separates you and makes you distinct. And Jay, you're doing a great job of that. It's dope because I hear you and I hear Big Sean, which I know that's one of your biggest influences. So it's like dope. You see what I'm saying? I don't hear you and say like, oh, I hear another Florida artist. I hear your substance. It sounds as if it's already in that realm of the Big Sean's, the Coles. You know what I'm saying? Those artists versus, and I don't want to throw no Florida artist out and make somebody feel bad or whatever, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you definitely sound your bars and your substance is up there. It sounds of something, not you just rapping to rap. So you definitely got that going for you, and you already know what it is, man. I rock with it.
There's like I said, but there's a lot of the songs. Well, I listen to all of the songs, but there's certain ones, and I'm not trying to say that I was the influence. Don't get it wrong, but I hear in some of your lyrics some of the things that you was taught when you was growing up. Let me say it that way. In some of your lyrics, the way you talk and stuff, and especially because when it comes to the family, we was big on loyalty. I mean, one of the favorite movies was The Godfather, and we was all around that. And when you talk about that part in fake friends, yeah, you see, I told you I can't sing, and I think about that, and I think about the influences and the things that happen because sometimes you don't have to. Oh, I did my thing back in the day. Sometimes
You see where we getting from, B?
don't get
Hey,
me
look,
started.
bro, he got spotted. Why we all look like pops, like just in there popping?
Don't get me started. but but yeah, it was the things that were said, and so the message is definitely there, and that's I think why I really gravitate to the music. Yeah, well, back in the '70s, it was a hip hop, a hip it to the hip it, a hip hip the hop and the don't stop a rocket to the bang bang boogie, say up jump the
Don't
boogie wonker,
start,
let
Dad.
the motherfucker to be.
Don't
But
start.
but even back then, we was telling stories, and so when I listened to your music, and then to hear, Matt, and I call him Matt, but that he went before, and then to look back and to see, because, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but you didn't really reach out for any kind of, I mean, you kind of did this thing on your own type scenario. It wasn't like, hey, help me do this, and how does this sound, and how did that
Right,
sound? You were confident enough to take what you had heard and what you had learned and what you had seen and put your own style together, and that's what makes it so
right,
unique.
right,
Even though it has a lot of the foundation comes from what we seen growing up,
right,
and how things changed and how things evolved, and then seeing your brother and all
right.
of that, because even with Matt didn't do the traditional rapping that
See,
he
y'all got.
he heard
It's funny you
coming
say
up.
that because our cloth, when I was in the music, we was watching a lot of Smack DVDs,
Yep.
and at the time where Pastor Troy, Trick Daddy, all the down south music was popping, I was on Dipset, Joel Santana, Method Man and Redman, DMX. So when I decided to rap, I sounded different because everybody down south was like, well, nigga, you don't sound like Master P. You don't sound like Juvie. You don't sound like the down south flow. Where you from? And it was just the influence of the music that I listened to. But I knew when I started music, I want to have punchlines. I want to be a flashy rapper. I want to talk my ish, and I want to be swaggy. And I feel like that just went with my personality, from fashion to just, how I dressed, how I carried myself, the dancing, which the name All Seasons, it just ties in because it's something for every weather. But you got to tie it all into like that. Because then when I got with Boogie, Boogie was I wouldn't even know what kind of genre to put Boogie in. He reminded me of like a mystical, just his attack and his drive, but he had bars too. He had bars like Ludacris, and then DZ as well. DZ had bars too, and he was just more melodic. And everybody had their own niche to them, but when we merged, it was like I could adapt to all three of them, and I could still adapt to them individually. So.
Yeah. So like I was saying, we gotta get it together. Pop 60 coming up.
Yep.
A couple ticks of the clock away, but we gotta get it together, gotta get us on the track
Yep.
and keep it for the sake of, and I'm not saying that we're gonna put it out public and all that. I'm gonna play it on the show, but I'm saying for years from now we can look back and like with Matt, I got a lot of stuff. I got Matt rapping in church
Yep.
on DVD.
Oh
So,
man.
when way back then, Stelly in the building.
Choices and
I
decisions
got
we
I
make.
got yeah I got Matt rapping back in church, but I kept a lot of that
Hold on,
stuff,
brother.
and even with the Bandits, I kept a lot of that stuff, and and the same with Isaiah. It just truth being told, it kind of when I heard it, at first I was listening, I wasn't hearing the music, and I was like, okay, but then the more I listened to it, the more I listened to it, the more I listened to it, I was like, okay, I could see, I could see him
Yeah.
growing, and I could see him evolving, because out of, like I said in the onset of the show, I love my children all collectively. They're all special, but I have special relationships with them individually. And Isaiah and I, our relationship came. He was, and all my kids were my best friends. But and he was like my best friend, and we would talk, and we would, and I would share things with him. But I would share things with him so that he would know, the same way I did with Matt, and even with their sister, that hey, look, I went through this, I went through that. Watch out for this, watch out for that, and so it was imperative that I would share like that through them, and I always took an interest in what they was doing. And when it came to music and it came to rapping, it was it was a common ground for us to really vibe with and stay connected. So I thank God for that. Um, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? We coming up on the mark. 5 years from now, where do you see yourself with your music?
5 years from now, a distribution deal. Trying to have my first album out. I got more music on the way. I know I'm very secretive as an artist, but I definitely got more music on the way. Trying to make sure, because I like to go about everything the right way. So, publishing all that, make sure I got the rights and everything. That way I don't get backdoor. But yeah, 5 years from now, distribution deal, first project, state tours, you know, definitely more influence. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so, before we get off real quick, tell the people where they can find you. I know you're listening on all platforms, but tell them where they can hear your latest stuff. And I know like you said, this was recorded a while back, but it still has a great impact today, and it's new to people who haven't heard it. Tell them where they can find you.
I'm everywhere, I'm on all avenues. Spotify, if you don't like Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple Music, we got Tidal, we ride the Tidal wave, everything, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I make sure I'm thorough as an artist as far as my drops go, as far as beats, everything. So that's all me. So, you type in JA1RUS, see the kid, make sure you check him out.
You
Start to
also
get.
you also do spoken word poetry, right?
Yeah, I do a little poetry. Like I say, I mean, I'm a hip hop savant, and hip hop is more than just rap. Poetry is a part of hip hop. MC, DJing to a certain extent is a part of hip hop. So
Okay. So again, I'm elated. I'm gonna play this tape back a couple times. I want to thank you for being on the show. Of course, you already know my prayers are with you. Well wishes are always with you. Um, there's nothing that I would withhold so that you can have your success. I'm proud of you as an artist. I'm proud of you as a son. I'm proud of you as a young man. One of the things that I've noticed about you is that there's no quit. If you run into a dead end, you'll figure out a way, and that that's it's passed down. The torch has been passed down, and I'm not going to say it was Pratt thing or anything like that. Your upbringing, because on your mom's side she got brothers and stuff, and you had a big support on that side, and your mom was always wanted the best for you, and she would always push you in a positive way, and made sacrifices to make sure that you had what you needed to have. And then even in that, there was I mean, let's keep it transparent. Everybody got their little issues as far as when it dealt with you and between her and I, but that was in the onset. As things got older and time went on, and both sides seen that it was your best interest at heart. I think that made for a bigger platform that you were able to grow on. And the reason I say that, I'm gonna do a show called "Can You? How much do you love your child? Can you successfully co-parent?" Dealing with individuals that have um, that has. Still, you're not a Pratt anymore. You're a McDonald. I don't
You
know
still got Pratt
why.
blood. Get out of here.
Come
Auntie, you
on
still
here, that
prefer
you
the
sold out.
Sierra.
There's no more. um, McDonald's, I'm loving it. You know what I
Yo,
mean? Just
Auntie, that's
you're out of
have nothing to
there.
do with that. That was on your side.
Hey, but that made me forget what I was saying. But no,
See, I knew it was coming.
here
I
we
knew
go.
it was coming. I
Yeah,
knew it was
okay.
coming.
Yeah, Pratt gang. Tell him, Penny. Pratt gang,
Crack
gang.
game. He's up.
What does your
He's
driver's
up.
license say? What does your government ID say?
yeah.
um, but again, shout out to Miss Kibra. Thank you
What up,
for
ma?
doing the things that you did to help him. I got to see both my sons graduate, and continue on to be a successful part of life. And of course, I wish them nothing. It says not the old one, not the expired one. We're talking about current. But always continue success. Stay with it, because you know that the torch has been passed on, and we gotta continue to run the race. Not that Pops is out of the game, because you know what I'm saying. I don't even need a beat. you could post it. No, we don't want you to post your government. It's okay. Golly, still not a prank. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. Let me say this. It's in your makeup. It's in your DNA to be successful. It is a part of you. So all you have to do is walk in that. And whatever you put your hand to, however you see yourself in the future, you can achieve it, because I've seen you do it. And so when you get through these vicissitudes of life, and pressure and things, come on you, especially as a young man, just think of what you've already been through, and what those that went before you. And don't ever forget that you have a family core. I know that sometimes you get standoffish and you want to do things on your own, but no man is an island. It's okay to reach out. It's okay to say, hey, I need a little bit of help. That doesn't take away from who you are because you acknowledge that you needed the help. And so reach out for the help. Of course, I love you to death. Anything that I can do, I'm here to do that. Your brother as well, even your sister in Colorado and everybody on your mom's side of the family,
Yep.
everybody is rooting for
Yep.
you. And with that kind of quote unquote fan base, with that kind of foundation, um, you're destined to be successful because you came up in an environment that you got the best of both worlds. You got the best of a young world with yours, but you got a best of an older world because all your siblings were older.
Yep.
Your father was older and exposed you to a lot of his culture and his ways, and then your mom and her family exposed you to a lot of culture. So you got a Q in the building. You got a lot of
Q, what's
different.
good, boy? Monk, what's good, boy?
You
Yo,
got
everybody
you
jump in
got a
here
lot
real
of
quick.
different experience, wisdom, and knowledge at a young age. What I caution you to do is don't be stagnant. Don't like you said to your 25 to your 10-year-old self. Don't be scared. Reach out, push because you can be the difference in a lot of people's world, in a lot of people in your age bracket and younger, to make them see or let them see that it can be done. That just because uh, you grew up the way you grew up, it's not the end of the world. Some people, you take a negative and make it a positive. Instead of saying, "Oh, my mom and dad don't live together," you said, "I got two homes." You know what I'm saying? You didn't look at it like that. Instead of saying, "Oh, things are bad," you was always because you were supported from both sides. And so I love you to death. You know that. We still gonna do a record. We're gonna get there. For all the people that came in, thank you so much for joining. Um, and I want y'all to keep my family, my two sons, lifted in prayer, and that God will continue to have their hands on them, and that they'll bring them closer together, and that they'll be able to lean on one another even after old pops is all gone. Y'all can play back the rap that we're gonna make. I've done said it like 4 times, so when you play the tape. But love
Pretty much.
you. Thank you so much for being on the show. Matt, you want to say anything before we go?
Yo, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Sorry, I jumped in. I just got murked, bro.
Oh, you want the
Yeah,
Call of Duty
I was
thing? Or
playing
this
Fortnite.
nigga playing Fortnite.
Hey,
This
nah, real talk, real talk. No, 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 real talk, real talk, real talk, real talk. Because I lost, so whatever. I appreciate y'all. I'm just warming up. I appreciate y'all, Jay. I love you, pops. I love you, Jay. Keep going, bro. You know I got you. I'm in your corner. Whatever I can do, whatever you need from me, my resources and whatever, I got you. Pratt's up in the building, bitch.
hey,
You already know. Big
real
D's,
quick,
bro.
y'all
Don't
remember
stop.
when we used to watch? Remember when we used to watch George Lopez? Because your mom, Jay, your mom put she wanted to be on the record too. Remember
Yeah.
that George Lopez show when they was practicing with the guitars, and the mother came with the tambourine. He'd be like, "Close the door, close the door."
Yo, you're retarded. Yo, shout
Woo!
out every.
Just Miss
Hey, man,
Kiva,
and
I'm
then
just
pops.
playing.
Pops, respect, man. Y'all, every Monday, bro, until the wheels fall off. Every Monday, 8 p.m. Y'all tap in. Y'all check out Pops Gyms, Pops Perspective. Always a dope topic, always a dope conversation, and good energy. Great safe space if you want to just come in and get some stuff off your chest. So shout out to you, Pops. And you already know it's pins the seasons. I got a new bomber on the way. I hinted on my story, so I probably reveal it tomorrow. I might do a little 12 a.m. drop, but y'all definitely gonna enjoy this. I'll give y'all a secret. Hey, that's it. That's all y'all get right there.
Uh-oh.
And if y'all know that thing, you already know where it's going.
Jay,
So,
talk to the people. Tell them any final comments, any final words.
Nah, I appreciate everybody tapping in. Much love. Make sure y'all tap into Pops Gyms. Always, it's always some good perspective. Clearly, you see where I get my influences from, and a lot of my perspective. So make sure y'all tapping in. Love to you, Pops. Much love, much respect for having me on the show. I appreciate everybody that tapped in. Matt, you know, season.
Y'all know how we do. I don't know who this Stelly Boom
yeah,
person is. Keep
you're
putting Pratt.
retarded.
I don't know who
I'm
that.
out. Love
Somebody,
Monty, Big Key.
listen, love y'all. Be nice to somebody. Tell somebody you love them. Show some affection. Next week, we're going to talk about some serious stuff. If you missed the show, watch the replay. And don't forget, tune in Monday nights, 8 p.m. Pop's Gems, that's me. Pop's Perspective, that's the show. We back in New York. We're doing some great things with it. Much love. Let me do this before we get out of here. I got to do it on the way out. I know we're a little over time, but it's okay.
It's all right. It's all in good. It's all in good faith.
It's okay dokie, my friend. All right, y'all. Till next week. This Ja1rus. You can find him on all platforms. Ja1rus.
It's 2011, I got colon dot in question. Sam Smith and Queen used to be my obsession. Don't get me wrong, Pops put me on the real MCs like Rakim, Heavy D, and Run DMC. I had it all burnt over on my little MP3. This before we knew that social media would get hot. The way you got heard was LimeWire.
Love y'all. Thank everybody for tapping in.
H and Double H, we heard that it dropped. The game's online, man.
Come on back next week.
With the clock ticking, ain't no time to be second. Where I'm from, repeatedly regressions of recessions.